on, come on. Great.
Yeah. Oh, he locked it out.
Another dandy right here. Some head shakes.
That's a better one there.
Mama, big mama, that's our real fish. That's a real fish.
That's a real fish there.
Big mama.
That's a good one.
Big mama, dude. I'm gonna
Taking line.
16.
95 pounds.
95 pounds.
Sit down, give her a push. And she is off to breed another day.
Yeah, that's a nice one. You know, and that's a great thing to do.
Hey, what's up, guys? Nick the Informative Fisherman here, and today we're out here with Scott Feist. What's up, Scott?
What's up, buddy? Good morning.
If you guys don't know about Scott yet, you should. In Northern California, this guy's a premier guide. What all do you guide around here, man?
Yeah, we're doing everything. Today we're in the Delta, targeting striped bass.
We're doing a trolling video for you.
Trolling. We're going to go over all the techniques, what we're using, when we're using, why we're using, speeds, leaders, everything. We're going to touch on today.
Really informed. That's the name, right?
Yeah, but that's what we're doing today. But you know, I make a living in the outdoors, so
yeah, so do I, man. It's hard to beat that. We love what we do, and we get to do what we love.
Yeah. So you know, in the spring I'm down here chasing striped bass.
Awesome.
You know, in the summers I'm fishing trout, shad, all kinds of different things. Our salmon season usually starts in July, so I'm usually in the river chasing king salmon. Then I switch to waterfowl in the winter, and then I start the whole cycle over again.
It's called Feisty Fish Guide Service, right?
Correct.
And that's feistyfish.net.
Yep.
I'll put that link in the description for you guys right here on the bottom of the video. We came out real early, but it was real foggy and stuff, but we'll show you that fish catch right over what we're talking about here. We got that first striper of the morning. We're waiting on the tides to change now, and we're gonna show you guys a lot of cool fish on film and break down exactly how we're doing it. Scott, appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Let's go catch them.
It's gonna be
Stay
a great
with us,
morning.
guys. It's gonna be a
great
blast,
morning.
man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
These are what we want right there, tacos.
Yeah,
nice one.
That's some fish tacos right there. Good tasty lion side.
Yeah, good.
Good way to get it started off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we launched out of Vieira's Resort this morning. Scott and I's intention was to go target as many different shoals as we could. We had a very large tide today, which is generally not too good when you're trolling. Those smaller tides help things settle. It's easier to place your baits in the right area. If you're not familiar with what a shoal is, all a shoal is like a sandbar, a gravel bar, something with some silt. Usually doesn't have too much grass on it. It's these flat areas near the deep water channels that these stripers move up and feed. They move up and spawn in there. In the spring, they're spawning. So that was our goal, to jump around until we found these fish. But right off the bat, we had to wait it out a little bit. Right after that morning fish, we ended up having a slack tide, which is never too good when you're trying to get stripers to bite. But if you're on them, you're on them. But, you know, after we figured that out and the tide started moving again, we got right back on.
Oh, he locked it out. That's a better one.
Good.
That's a better one there. So what we're doing right now is I'm fighting this fish. I'm just going to take my time taking it in because we had a double going on the last one. So Scott's keeping our plugs in work here. We might encourage another one to come up and take one of these plugs at the same time. So I'm just going to take my time with this one instead of him backing off the motor, just to see if we can hook up with a double.
Just a good fight. Not even that big, just a good fight.
Don't try to pump me off there. You ain't gonna.
There you go. Nice. And he would keep. We're gonna
we'll
flip
shake
him.
him off.
We're gonna flip him, but that's a nice fish.
Still in good shape. Corner of the mouth.
Oh yeah.
Fish is not fine. Yeah, if you catch a fish like this and he's got it choked back beyond his tongue and you know he's not gonna make it, just
Then,
keep the fish.
Yeah, I mean he's right at 18, but we're gonna let him go. We'll get him next year.
Yeah, we'll get him next year when he's got a little bit more girth on him.
All right, hey. Yeah, let's keep it rolling. Here we go.
Let's do it. All right, Scott, now today, what type of setup are we going to be using for the most part?
You know, we keep stuff pretty basic. Let's go over some of the fundamentals.
Right.
You know, rods vary. I fish a feather stick rod, but I mean, there's a ton of different rods out there. The key is to have a soft tip on the rod so you can see your lure working. I prefer an 8-foot rod. A lot of guys use a 7.5, an 8.5, but somewhere in that margin is going to work good. From the rod, reels are pretty important. It's probably the most important thing that I find. You want to have a good drag, and B, a line counter. you know, the old school way of counting back and forth and this kind of thing is never too precise. The line counter is very accurate.
Sure.
We set these lines out to specific distances, and it makes a huge difference.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
You know, there's a lot of different reels out there, but you know, a line counter reel is preferred, you know, for this trolling. I like to troll P-line braid. I use 50 or 65 pound test. Not that I need that much strength, but I use it so it lays in the spool nice and smooth. Okay. From my 50 or 65 pound braid, I do a double uni knot to 30 pound CX, CXX, or fluorocarbon, just depending. You know, sometimes guys overthink it a little bit. If a striper's willing to bite this big lure, I don't think it's line shy.
Yeah, it's not too worried about your line.
Yeah, it's not, and you know, it's a very basic setup from the top to the bottom. I do not like running a barrel swivel. Occasionally guys run a barrel swivel to snap their lure on. I just like using these little clamps that come with the lures. The lure seems to track straighter with the barrel swivel. Sometimes it gets more rocking back and forth. From there to our lure, and you know, it's a pretty basic deal.
And the worms, I know the worms that we're attaching on there, and we showed throughout the film there, is a lot of the time, if you're just getting started with a basic worm, just do white. If you're going to start with a basic worm, a lot of the time when the water's real stained, the chartreuse will help. Even going to a black will help. But if you're looking for a basic worm to get started with too, just do the white one.
White worm. Yeah.
White always seems to work. So that's your basic setup from your 50 pound braid to 65 pound braid. Your leader on your braid like that, it's a much thinner diameter. 65 pound braid's 15, 50's 12, makes it real simple for you. So you can pair it up to your leader too. That big strong leader, like a 30 pound leader, I usually do 65 at the same time. The thinner your line is too, your baits are going to drop down a little bit faster. That thicker diameter, your baits are going to lift. So keep that in mind as well, guys.
Hang with us, guys. We'll be right back. Did you know that P-Line makes specialized lines for all your fishing needs, from the super strong abrasive resistant CXX or the low stretch super stealthy CX Premium? Or maybe you're looking for invisibility or super bite detection with P-Line's 100% fluorocarbon. No matter what your needs, P-Line's got it covered. To find out more, visit P-Line.com.
P-Line, baby.
Attention all anglers, it's time to start displaying your weapons of big fish destruction in style with the coolest rod racks to ever to hit the market, the 916 Rod Rack. Don't be caught slipping stacking your expensive gear in the corner. Treat those babies with the love that they deserve. From upright racks to ceiling mounts to wall mounts, they got you covered. So don't go wrong, guys. Get yourself a 916 Rod Rack. I'm taking these, bro. Been thinking about trying out kayak fishing or already into it and just want some sick upgrades for your rig? It's time to check out the Headwaters Kayak Shop. Come pick the brains of their knowledgeable staff and make sure to ask about their awesome demo program to find the right kayak for you. Or stop in and rent one with Lodi Lake right down the street. The Headwaters Kayak Shop fits all your yakking needs. Tell them if sent ya. Attention Northern California anglers, have you been to Boat Country in Escalon? With one of the largest selections of welded aluminum fishing boats from Weldcraft, Lowe, and Hughescraft, chances are they've got the right fishing boat for you. And did I mention they have a full service center to take care of all your boating repair and maintenance needs? If you're a boat owner or just looking to become one, you owe it to yourself to check these guys out. Visit BoatCountryUSA.com or stop on by. I'll see you there.
Let's get it on. Come on. Let's go. Head shakes.
That's a better one there. That's a real one now.
Opposed to a fake one?
We've been catching a lot of fake fish, you know, stage fish. This one actually pulled some drag off. Hanging out back here. Yeah, a little bit better there. Yeah. That's a little bit better quality.
Got it good. A bit nicer.
Yeah, there we
There
go.
we go. A little bit nicer of a bass there.
Right about at the top of our eating range.
Yep. See, look, his one hook fell out of his mouth,
Yep.
another stayed in. He had,
I felt it get a little bit funny there. Felt some quick pops. The benefit of multiple hooks there. If we would have had just the front hooks, that fish wouldn't have been
yeah, that's
more than
another
likely in the boat.
another nice schooly bass right there.
Yeah, it's a nice chunky one.
Yeah,
Nice
good.
and thick, man.
Fish tacos.
Good eating right there. Awesome. So in today's film, we're using a lot of the stick style minnow baits like this. We're using P-line angry eyes and predators with that worm trailing off the back. And we're gonna have Scott go into that, but that's what they ate it on with a nice little quick snap on there. That long leader like Scott was talking about. The reason why he's using the CXX is we're coming through a lot of debris right here on the shoals, some abrasive stuff, and the CXX has got really good durability. It's a copolymer made by P-line. It really doesn't get any tougher than the CXX, so really cool leader choice, and the water's a little bit stained out here, so he doesn't need fluorocarbon. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, which is a nice little shock when you're using 100% braid. You still want that detection so you can see your lure working, but that CXX is gonna make up for the difference in a little bit of shock and good abrasion resistance. Dirty water, don't need the fluorocarbon.
So I get asked all the time, what hook do I put my worm on? And I know it seems silly, but if you do not put your white worm or your orange worm or your chartreuse worm on the right hook, your lure will not swim true. And what I mean by true is straight, okay, Nick?
Okay.
So what I do is I lay this lure down and my little split ring's flat, and then I find the hook that is in the straight direction of the body of the lure. So this happens to be the top hook. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my hook, my white worm, and I'm just gonna push it through like so. And now when this thing swims, my worm is in line with my lure. If I have it on this other hook, it will sometimes kick out left and right and it won't run true. There he is. All right, here we go, nice fish.
All right,
nice fish.
There we go.
Right. Yeah, two quick ones and a fish on. Nick, will you reel just this one outside, one in? Just this rod right there.
Do that, sir. No problem. Should I leave the clicker on and do it obnoxiously loud?
Can you please not do that? All right, let's see. Feels like a decent little fish. He's not a real big fish by any means, but you know, he's a fish.
It looks like it's swimming.
Hey, it's swimming. It has fins.
It's got stripes on it too. I would be willing to bet. Little guy. Yeah, there are some squirrels out here.
Ho, ho!
Going for the bounce back.
Yeah, he's going for the going for the flipper.
He was aiming for the logo.
Oh yeah. Big Mama, that's our real fish. That's a real fish there. Big Mama.
That's a good one.
Big Mama. I'm gonna get these lines cleared.
Yeah.
Real aware where these are. We've been working hard, man. It's been a toughish bite, but you know what? We're on a nice one right now. Chaos. Chaos.
That's how it works. Okay. Scott, just lay that over there.
We're getting there. Wish we had some electric reels around this place.
Yeah, we need some autos. Finally got a golden girl to bite.
Golden girl.
Love them golden girls. So come on, Blanche. Let's get in the boat.
You gotta call him.
Thank you. Appreciate you watching, man. You're right here live on the scene, man. Hey, I got her in the gill plate, Scott. You better get on the net before she props that front hook.
There we go. That's a nice fish.
There we
We'll
go.
take that. That's a nice one. That is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Just about right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's more like it. That's like right at the top of eating range.
Yep. No, this one.
That's a good one.
This one will box. This is a good fish. That's about as big as we want to box them. That's a nice one right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Quality about probably 6 to 8 pound range.
Yeah.
Pretty thick. Probably pushing closer to 8.
Yep.
Nice one, man.
Nice fish.
We finally got her to chew, man.
We're chewing.
Finally got him to chew.
They're chewing. So a lot of guys use a barrel swivel to connect their braided line to their monofilament leader. 2 reasons I really don't like using it. Either you use a small enough barrel swivel that it ends up reeling into the eyes of your rod all the time, A, or B, use a big enough swivel that it stops at the end of your rod and you can't have a longer leader. I like running an 8, 10, 12 foot, 30 pound P-line leader, either fluorocarbon or their CXX. Today we're running the CXX. So the way I get around that is I tie a double uni knot. And when I cut the tag ends off, I leave an 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch of that line still there. And what happens is, as we're trolling and we're getting some of that, you know, grass, some of this witch's hair, instead of having the swivel cut that off, leaving these little tag ends grabs it. And here's a prime example of this little bit of grass that would have ended up on my lure, now is on that knot.
Hang with us, guys. We'll be right back.
Ever tried pulling a planer board next to your boat when trolling or fishing from a swift current bank? If not, you're missing out on one of the most phenomenal fish catching machines on the market today. With Yellowbird planer boards pulling your lines perpendicular to your boat, you can't help but catch more fish. Find out more by visiting www.yellowbirdproducts.com. Have you been to rustylures.com? Did you know they offer free shipping on anything over $29.99? And with all the latest and greatest in bass fishing gear, from punching tackle, umbrella rigs, swim baits, and you name it, there's really no reason for you not to be getting the best deal online today. So go to www.rustylures.com. Did you ever wish for an RC boat when you were a kid? And do you have a passion for fishing? Well, guess what? It's time to do them both at the same time. With RCFishingWorld.com's RC Fishing Pole, it's time to be a kid again. So visit www.rcfishingworld.com today.
It's been entertaining, Jack.
Yeah, I'll tell you when you know.
This is Scott's deckhand, Captain Jack. Handles all the needs.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
All right. Fish on! Another fish on. Getting them now. Working it. Doing the bull dance?
Yeah, that's right.
Feeling the
this
flow.
tide to slow down a little bit.
Pack of Marlboros floating by. It's how you know you're on the California Delta. Yeah. If we were close enough, Scott would actually pick up those Marlboros, throw them in the garbage. Jack, get the net. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Another perfect
Right there.
size.
That's a perfect eater.
Worm in the boat.
That's what we want. See that? A little bit quick to the rod.
Hey, when
It's kind of
somebody
funny how I got 2 on my side and
see, here's the thing. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I got the fish. Well, trolling is a team effort, in my opinion. It's about rod management.
That's
It's
right.
about captaining. It's about controlling the boat as much as it is bait placement or lure selection or location. There's a lot involved, and the more people you have involved on your team making critical decisions, you know, thinking out loud can help, you know, make you make a better decision. Wow, he's really running out there. Look at that.
real one. This is gonna be
That's a real one out there.
When they go to the center, it's a nice one.
Oh yeah. Just looking for deep water.
Yep. You know, we're dealing with a real big tide today, so we just headed up a little bit further up into the deep water channel we're in right now, just to find some slower water, and immediately wham.
Yeah, just like that. And a lot of people might not understand why it's slower water here versus saying that faster water. And it's pretty much about avoiding debris and getting in that strike zone a little bit better. So the bigger mass of water is going to move slower. It's also wider here, to where that's going to slow the water down. Those trolling days are more preferable on smaller tides. Less debris in the water, everything settles down, the water tends to be a little bit cleaner. The bigger tides, that water moves a lot faster, moves a lot of debris, and it's hard to get your baits down. So that's why Scott made that decision, because today is a bigger tide, so we went with a more preferable situation with trying to find that slower moving water. And we found clearer water, less stuff in it, and immediately, just like Scott said. And oh, here's one we're letting go. Yeah. I think this might be the first double-digit fish of the day. We'll see. Looks close. Woo! Woo! Taking line. Let you guys know a little bit better. Add some audio to the situation for you. Get the rod too negative. Oh! She's not done. Okay, Scott, you can take this one.
Cheater!
Oh, that was good. All right, your turn.
Tag in.
We've been on this fish for 2.5 hours now. It's the money fish, though. Oh yeah, she's chunky.
That's a beautiful fish.
Oh yeah.
She's heavy. She's Come here, honey. Come on in. We're gonna let you go, babe. We're gonna let you go. That's a nice striper right there.
That's a nice one.
And look at, I want to show you immediately. And you know, we talk about this all the time, keeping your line tight. Immediately that fish hit the net and look, the hooks are out.
Just like
so
that.
just like that. So we're not gonna hold her too long here, but we're gonna get this up. And we'll probably,
Put them over there.
we'll throw her on the boga, so we'll be honest.
Yeah. I'll tell you the truth, what's really going on here.
16.
95 pounds.
95 pounds.
16 pounds. Nice fish.
Awesome.
Nice hen.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Here we go. Let's let this big girl go. I'm holding her in here, let her get her drink. You know, I like to let them bite down on my thumb or see some good fin activity. Then I'll point them nose down. There you go. Pectoral fin starting to move. I'll point her nose down, give her a push. There she goes.
Awesome.
And she is off to breed
Yeah, baby.
another day.
Yeah, that's a nice one. You know, and that's a great thing to do, letting these fish back. Hey, we keep nice schooly fish. You know, I don't sit here and preach and cry about letting them back. They're all our fish, but you know, we're our own stewards to these fish, you know, to these striped bass. So, you know, keep some nice schoolies. That's what I like to do on my boat. You know, a fish over 10 pounds is typically a female. We know that's a female. We let her go, and it's a great feeling.
And hopefully you guys can come out and catch her with Scott.
Okay, today out here on the Delta, we are trolling shallow running lures. These lures, you know, are diving in that 5 to 7 foot range. We're targeting, you know, 6 to 10 foot up on these shelves where a lot of these stripers feed. You know, as we're setting these things out, it's really important to know how far you're going out. And again, that's the line counter deal. So typically on an average day, if I'm gonna run 4 rods, my 2 back rods, I'm gonna run somewhere 140 to 160 feet, and I'm gonna give them minimum a 20-foot distance to my rods that I put up in front. So this particular rod I just set at 150 feet. So this next rod that we're gonna set up here, we're gonna run to 130. We wanna keep a nice space between them, and A, it helps you avoid snags, and B, tangles. So we'll grab another one here and we'll get this sucker running out. We got Captain Jack saying hi to everybody. So again, I set this thing in the water and I make sure it swims straight. I'm just gonna start running this thing out. And when we get to our 130, I'm gonna click it up and set it and get it in the rod holder and wait for it to double over. Now, if your reel offers a clicker, has a clicker on it, run them. It's pretty nice, you know, trolling between bites. You know, we're staring at sea lions, looking at birds, doing whatever. We're talking about catching fish. It's pretty nice to hear that big zzz ring, and you kind of know what rod immediately is going. So it's nice to set that clicker on as you're fishing. So here we go. So I want to show you guys the difference between a deeper dive lure and a shallow running lure. This is a P-line angry eye. You see the smaller bill? This lure is going to dive 6 to 7 feet max. This is the Predator. See the bigger bill? It catches more water and dives this lure. This is when I'm targeting bass, typically deeper in that 12, 13 foot. You see some of those stripers on those deeper ledges in 20 feet. I'm going to run a deeper diver lure. As of lately, the last couple weeks down here in the Delta, these fish have really been pushed up onto the shoals in a lot of the shallower water. So again, we're targeting that 5 to 10 foot range. I'm trying not to get any deeper than 10 feet. And that's when I'm going to run these shallow running lures. I want to talk a little bit about troll speeds. You know, I get asked this a lot. Yeah. This is very, very important. I mean, it's probably more than your color, even more than your distance and line out is your troll speed.
Absolutely critical.
It's absolutely critical. So here's your general rule of thumb, and when I'm doing seminars or anything, this is how I explain it best. When you're going with the tide or with the current, you want to troll right about 5 miles an hour. Now, you know, 4.5, 4.7 is probably average, but I say right at about 5, a little under. When I'm going against the tide or against the current, you're gonna slow that down to about 3.5 to 4, somewhere in there. So if you remember 5 and 4 or a little bit under that, it's gonna really help you out. Now the fish will definitely let you know if you're going too fast or slow. A lot of times you'll get a lot of these worm snaps, you're seeing your rod going, A, you're either going too fast or too slow, so speed up a little bit. If they keep snapping, we'll maybe slow down and let that bait be presented in front of the bass a little bit longer.
Those little strike indicators that are going to tell you that story, that little bang, bang.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The two mistakes I see out here most often is speed and line distances. So, you know, if you can grab anything from this video that I find that's the two most important things that I can give you, is distance. A lot of people run them out 80, 100 feet. Remember, striped bass are extremely noise sensitive fish. The further, the better. Now, I'm not saying run your line out 250 feet, but 160, 140 feet, you know, your short rod's 120, 110.
Yeah, we're up here on flats.
Yeah.
You know, you're moving into 6 to 8 feet of water, and you're putting the boat over the top of the head. If you don't think those fish spread, you're lost to begin with. Those fish are going to run and get out of the way. By 140, 160 feet back there, your boat's long out of the picture. They're comfortable. They might look to feed again. Now the bait comes passing through there.
And that's exactly it. And, you know, line distances and speed. I see a tremendous amount of boats out here trolling around like they're trolling for kokanee. We're not trolling at 1.5 miles an hour. You need these lures moving. These bass, this is a reaction bite. This is a reaction strike.
These minnow style baits, these big jointed baits like that, from the angry eyes, from the predators, from the yozuris, that's what Scott's talking about, those big baits. That's faster. There's other things you can do, from rattle traps or pulling swim baits. That's another story, but the fundamentals of striper trolling here in the Delta is definitely the minnow style baits.
Correct. Yeah. Hard bait, and like I said, just remember your speed. Be very cautious on your speed, and you know, you'll have some good luck out here.
Work for us.
Yeah, absolutely. A great day. This is another dandy right here. I guarantee you, this one's got yours.
That looked heavy.
It is heavy. Oh.
Another shaker,
Look,
Scott?
I don't think so. Beast mode. We just gotta clear these lines. We're gonna let this guy get out here and zing around a little bit. So the guy gets to reel a fish in? What is this?
Yeah.
Nick's finally gonna let me reel a fish in?
I've been so stubborn jumping on all the rods, you know. I can't help it. I get impatient. When I'm trolling, it's first to the rod for me.
Yeah.
I don't care how good of a job you're doing controlling the boat, I'll pounce right on your rod.
Sucker. Now normally I'd take the clicker off, okay? So for the viewers that are watching, I'm doing this for you.
This tells the story.
This tells the story. Normally I'm yelling at my client, take that clicker off.
I'll narrate what's going on here.
Will you get this last
I didn't even
rod?
see that one over there. Easy 3 to 4 pounds.
Easy 2 to 3 pounds.
Easy 2 to 3.
Oh, and it's just wrapped on its side too, though. So that's why it's giving me a little. Oh, maybe it's not gonna beat next.
Come on, baby. Be under 16.
I think it's got both hooks in it, so it's tricking me. Yep.
Yeah, I've got both hooks.
Nice fish.
Yeah, still a nice
Man,
fish though, that's for sure.
It tricked me.
Yeah.
It tricked me.
Want me to net it?
Yeah, we'll just net it. There we go. Well, it kind of faked me. And that is what happens sometimes when these fish hit these lures. They get a trouble here and a trouble here, and they fight against themselves. And sometimes the one in the mouth falls out, and then the one in the body stays in.
I got the net.
All right.
I'm partially holding this fish in the water to prevent it from bouncing. When you're trying to get a foul hook fish out, you know, and unhooked, they can do a lot of bouncing around. Potential of Scott getting a hook in the hands higher. I mean, he does this for a living daily, so chances are it wouldn't happen, but just keeps it a little safer.
Yeah, that's a nice one. We already have plenty of taco fish in the box, so we're just letting them go now, having some fun, and
a little catch and release.
Yeah, there's a nice one.
Good time.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, Nick, I may have you on this one.
I don't hear that thing ripping any drag yet.
Oh, you're right. It's a nice fish.
Might not know it's hooked yet, though. That's a decent fish.
Right where you're at.
Oh, no.
That's a nice fish.
Keeper though.
Absolutely. Perfect taco fish.
Would be a taco fish there.
There.
Well, guys, that's how it's done.
Perfect.
You like your tacos?
I love tacos.
Do we want one more taco fish?
All right, guys, it started off tough, but we ended up having a heck of a day out here with Scott. Awesome, man. It was good to actually come out here and meet you and get on some great fish, man. That's some good trolling tips. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. Let's go grab our fish, show them what we ended up with here. I mean, we let that big girl let a lot of fish go, but kept a lot for fish tacos, man. Let's see what we got. You can tell when they're dripping with slime. They're ready for lime. Hey, that's it. I got a new one. They're dripping with slime. Just add some lime.
And I mean, just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful guys.
There we go, guys. Out here on the California Delta. Feistyfish.net.
You got it.
Yep, we'll put the link down there at the bottom, also in the description for you. Check out Scott, guys. If you get the opportunity to come out here and fish with him, you won't be missing out on a thing. I can promise you that. Heck of an effort out there today, man. Awesome.
Good job. Glad to have you guys.
Thanks
A lot
for
of
watching.
fun.